name is Julia Hatfield, and I graduated from Wesleyan in 2006, and I'm now working in the University Advancement Office. After serving over 20 years as a teacher, Edith Hochbein became a writer. Edith has composed 18 published children's books and 3 student workbooks, and she is credited with hundreds of magazine and newspaper contributions. Edith's children's book, Under the Lemon Moon, was named one of the 50 best children's books by Parents Magazine, a Parents' Choice Silver Honor Book, and a notable social studies trade book for young people.
That answers your question.
I'm glad I could help. Under the Lemon Moon was also adapted and produced as an animated video by Walt Disney Studios. Edith is active with Voices of Women, runs the published members group of the San Diego chapter of the Society of Children's Writers and Illustrators, and serves on the advisory board of UC San Diego Extension's new Children's Book Writing and Illustrating Certificate Program. It's my pleasure to introduce Edith Hochbein.
So the first thing is, Tess had to run to Nancy's car and find my notes. I just would like you to know that. So I am telling you not to expect anything real serious here today. You'll see. Just a minute. And I told Nancy that my hair was going to be like little orphan Annie's grandmother, and I was right, because the humidity must be like 99, I think. 3 frogs sit on a log. One decides to jump. How many are left? 3, because deciding isn't doing. So I look around at all of you, and I'm so glad that you've all decided and done coming to the reunion and to come to an alum college session. And then you know Andy's right next door at 3, just so everyone's on that. And I'll tell you more about the froggies later. I'll also be talking a little about memories. We were thinking about Miss Tarbell and how she taught us to relax. Starting at your head, and going down. You remember that? It didn't work last night, I'm just telling you. We were thinking about the freshman dinks, and we were thinking about, I hate to say it, those posture pictures. What were we thinking? I mean, holy cow. I took an art class, maybe some of you took the same one, where we were out on the hillside and we only had 4 colors of paint. We had white, black, yellow, and blue. And the art instructor said to paint every shade of green. Now look out here. So there was the bright yellow green of spring, the gray green, the middle green, the fir tree, and then the blues. I've never ever looked at green the same way again. That was a gift. I also took piano from Mrs. Jones. I think Dr. Jones taught Soch, didn't he? Yes. Do you remember that? And his wife was the piano teacher. And I went in one day and I said, oh, I made a discovery. And I showed her, if you put your thumb on C and go ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba, and then you go around to the bottom, you come back to C. And she said, that is very cool. And we went on with the lesson. And when I was leaving, she said, that's called the circle of fifths. Now I want to tell you about Eleanor Duckworth. She's from Harvard. You're going to get a handout, and I'm putting these things on them. She wrote a piece called The Having of Wonderful Ideas. And it's where a student gets something and makes it his or her own. And that's exactly what happened to me with the circle of fifths. So when I was teaching Greek and Latin to little kids, a little boy raised his hand and he says, oh, I made an invention. What is it? It's a thermometer. And I said, what did your thermometer do? He says, it measures how hot something is. That's very cool. I said, like Mrs. Jones did. And on the way out, I said, you might pronounce it thermometer. So all of you who've been in teaching will just love to think about that. A little teeny bit of housekeeping. I'm going to start a book around did I do with it? Oh, thank you. Aren't you? This is for you to sign in. I was yesterday at Cover to Cover, a children's bookstore in Columbus, and all these cute little kids, I'll show you, these little adorable children signed their names. And they were so cute, but you go where the ribbon is, okay? And then I'm also going to pass a pad in case you want to leave me your email address if you want more information or have questions. You need a pen? Well, no, I have a pen. There's one right there in the second pocket down. The handout will look like this, and you'll get it during question time by my lovely assistants. Do support the bookstore. The bookstore kindly ordered my books, so if you want some of them, they're down there, and I'm happy to sign them. I can sign like at 2:45 until it's time for Andy, but I'm going next door to hear Andy, so no, I'm not staying after 3. So I want to tell you that I lead 3 lives, and the first is the regular life. And you know what that's like. You go get the brakes repaired, and you weed, and you do all this stuff that you have to do. These little children are now old, but those are my 2 sons. We're all thinking about Nepal. We're all thinking about being here with our great roommates, and that's the regular life. I read the funnies every day. Does anyone read the funnies every day? Oh, look at that. Oh, we're all so wonderful and old. So I tell kids they're exercising their curiosity muscle. So you exercise yours for a minute and think about how big the continent of Africa is. Just consider it. Now look what fits on Africa. China is tipped 90 degrees. There's the US, and there's Europe. Isn't that stunning? I mean, I thought that China and Africa might be equal. No, no, no. Always wondering about things. Really, writers are writing all the time. Karen Cushman says that she's writing even when she's deadheading her roses. And I go to the pool every day, and because I don't want to lose any ideas, I get my lasso and if my hands are wet, which this is about to be, and then I run to the edge of the pool, and I get this piece of Cheerios cardboard wet, you know, this pen writes. It's the coolest thing ever, and it's a wonderful gift. It writes upside down. I'm passing it to you. And you can even get refills. I want you to know. Because you never want to lose an idea. How many of you know little free libraries? Oh my gosh, leave one, take one, and we just put this one in our community. It's number 16,000 something. And I was on the website the other day. Tomorrow is the 3rd anniversary of Little Free Libraries as a nonprofit. There are now 25,000. We opened this in September, so that's a huge increase. And they're all over the world, 70 countries. You know, don't you, Tess? And we had a huge launch. It's so much fun. I wanted to just show you another thing in the regular life. This is our little tree. It's in the community green belt, and we decorate it. And it started out about 18 inches tall with one little ornament on it. And this is Thanksgiving. You see how high we can reach now? This is Easter, and that's how high we can reach. And this is everybody, the whole community at Christmas, decorating the little the little tree. It's really fun to do the author gigs. That's what I wore yesterday at Cover to Cover, because in Sleepy Time Me, there's a Piglets waffle line. So my friend, the author Alexis O'Neill, sent me those piggy slippers. Very sweet. They're really, really fun. We make little hats for preemie babies. Our San Diego group has made more than 20,000. And when my friend Hillary called me last year and said, I have an idea, let's make hats for every one of David Lynch's students at the Tijuana dump. I said, oh, okay, 600, and they're not the preemie size, they're the bigger size. So that was a surprise, and that's the loom that we use for the preemies. I really am a recycling queen, so I even have in my purse, do you have one of these little bags that you carry with you? It folds up into a bag. And you may wonder what QDAH is. I think my mother was the original texter. She would write on her calendar, QDAH, quiet day at home. And we need a QDAH even more than ever nowadays. In the Never Note What Will Happen department, we got to have lunch with Edward James Olmos. It was so much fun. And Susan Sarandon has supported David Lynch's work for years, so we got to meet her. This is Dr. Naba Hamid. She teaches bacteriology, and she lived at my home for 34 days in 2006, and she's from University of Baghdad. And I didn't ever know anyone from Iraq, and it was a life-changing event. This is Jenny Prisk to her right, and she is the founder of Voices of Women. That's on your handout also. Oh my gosh, I went on a tour of our elementary school. I was totally skunked, and I had no idea what they were doing. Oh, come and have lunch, and we'll go on a tour of the school. And they named the Fine Building. What? I couldn't believe it, so that was a huge surprise. This is my brother, isn't he? Where's the Bill I just met? That's William. That's my brother I told you about. And this amazing story. Are you coming up?
I'm coming up.
Come. So this is Pathway.
I get to tell the amazing story of the connection between Edith and the Pathway family. Our daughter, Kristen, started off with Edith writing to David to maybe help market her children's books. David emails our daughter Kristen, who has a master's in direct marketing, who lived in Pasadena at the time, and Edith is in Cincinnati. Hey, Doctor.
Cincinnati is far from San Diego.
Excuse the slip. They got together one weekend, and it happened that just previously our daughter and son-in-law, who had been unsuccessful in starting their family, had decided to adopt. And they were told, and this is advice for anyone here, when you decide to adopt, tell everybody. You never know where a baby may come from. They told Edith, Edith told a friend, later who was the counselor of the mother of a pregnant 18-year-old, and approximately 3 months later, our daughter and son-in-law were in the hospital when our little Violet was born, and they took her home.
They stayed overnight at the house.
Edith saw Violet before Grandma and Grandpa did.
That's not really fair, is it? So look at this girl. You did well keeping to the timing. This is my granddaughter Taylor and Violet, and they were preparing a tea for the little girls on the corner. And look at this child. Isn't that adorable? We wanted you to hear that story. The second life, oh, and I forgot about this one. If you are taking botany and your roommate says to you, you're an artist, then you should pay attention. Stand up, Peggy. Peggy's a real artist. Now look, Becky has all her art on a windowsill, and just look at this. Isn't that stunning? Because I told you you were an artist. Surprise. The second life is the reading life. I'm not going to spend much time on that, but on your handout there are a whole bunch of book titles from my book group, With Love to All of You. This is my book group, and this is Holly. I want you to remember her with Under the Lemon Moon. So now I need you to do it. Okay. So put your hands like this and say Biblio. Do this and say file. So you've got bibliophile. And that's called total physical response, and that's how I teach roots to children. So we are all bibliophiles in this room, I suspect. These are some of my books. These are other books. People ask if I knew I was going to be a writer. No way, but I did write a really funny dictionary in 6th grade, which my mother typed. And so she was honoring my interest. And then we do logo files. So do logo, write a word in the sky, and file, and say it. Logo, file. And you're all word lovers. Okay, so let's talk about the nitty-gritty grammar books. Judith Josephson and I are wearing our $6 party hats. We got a lot of distance out of those hats. And because you can see that grammar is a very serious business. And we do blog as the Grammar Patrol. But these books we were teaching at San Diego State through extension, and it was really adults who felt rusty and were kind of really scared, you know, the ones who were saying, here's a picture of George and I. And I was going, woo, woo, vacuum out the other and say, of me. So the pages have thumbs up, thumbs down. Where's my laser? Is it there? Oh, there it is. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Along the bottoms of the pages there are common bloopers. There are syndicated cartoons. Between the two books there are about 90 syndicated cartoons. And we've had a lot of fun with those. Here is the first box of books that we got. Gritty is a hyphenated adjective. And would you look at the spelling of grammar? You get 2 A's if you spell grammar with 2 A's. Carry-on luggage. It's time to eat, Bertie. It's time to eat, Bertie. What a difference a comma makes. Between you and I, Professor Wilson. No, it's between you and me. I could care less. No, you couldn't get it right, Mr. Drebel. Well, now I feel badly. No, you feel bad, not badly. It's fun and easy to drive an English teacher berserk. We collect bloopers. This is an actual ad. Can we not vacuum out my colleagues and? Is it okay for I to copy software? No, it's not. Miss Hosel realized in 8th grade that I couldn't do the possessive apostrophe, and she kept me after school. I was really scared. So we have singular and plural. Here's her trick. Give it as a gift to anyone you know who can't do the possessive. You underline the word that you want to make possessive. You draw a little line up, and then you put a little apostrophe, and that's where the apostrophe goes. It's so exciting. You can also name the apostrophe, the dish of the cat, the dishes of the cats. That works too. So we had a lot of fun teaching grammar. Under the Lemon Moon came about because Holly, you saw her in the book group, called me one day and said, I dreamed a children's picture book. Well, by the time we finished, there was not much of her dream left in the book, but the little lemon seed of an idea was there. And I have my We Need Diverse Books pin on. This is a big campaign nationwide because every child needs to see himself or herself on the covers of books and on the inside pages of the books. Look at all of you nodding. Aren't you the best? Oh. So I always talk a little about the art. These are Renee King Moreno's thumbnail sketches. And the only thing the editor said was that they were kind of all the same size and asked her if she could vary the pictures. This is the last one. And I'm just going to show you, in case you get the book, some of the things that you won't know unless I tell you. It used to start, once upon a time there was a little girl named Rosalinda. She lived in a little Mexican village, and she heard noises one night and wondered what they were. Well, that's not going to work, right? So 42 versions later, put your hand up. It goes deep in the night. Rosalinda heard noises. Do that. Deep in the night. Rosalinda heard noises. You know, they're as malleable as those kids yesterday. So I love Renee's art. Just looking at this picture, you can tell The lemons are all gone from her tree, but it bends towards sadness. Over here, can't see that thing. Wah! Sorry. This tree, well, the tree bends over, the feathers are down, Rosalinda is frowning. On the next page, a little boy appeared, and I asked the editor if I needed to name him or give him a speaking line. No, he's making a cameo appearance. So note that Mom is weaving there. I was at a school and the little girl said, oh, there's Rosalinda's house. And I said, no, not on this page. And of course, there's Rosalinda's house where the arrow is, just FYI. You can see the wash line and the scarecrow. Renee always puts a crocodile in any book she illustrates because she loved Lyle Lyle crocodile. So in this picture, there truly is a crocodile. I'll give you a second. It's a marionette. So there, you remember Mom was weaving, and on this page, Anciana has told her to graft a branch onto this tree. And what Renee did was pull a thread of love through the book by having her wearing what Mom had woven. I love this illustration, and you can tell it's magical realism because of the size of the butterfly and the dragonfly. Rosalinda's tree glowed golden in the night, dripping with lemons as big and fat as baby moons. So there's Brother again. See how big his head is compared with the lemon? And on the last page, so she goes and gives the night man who took the lemons her last fat lemon and tells him to plant them for her and the children. If you noticed on the thumbnails, there was nothing in that cart, and the line was, Rosalinda's cart was empty, but her heart was as full as a lemon moon. Well, guess what? When we got the art, Blanca was in the cart. So it took me, I tell the kids, from the time you got to school until lunchtime to change the words on the page so that it talks about Blanca with a flip. Blanca fluttered into the cart for the ride back home, except for one fat hen. Rosalinda's cart was empty, but her heart was as full as a lemon moon, and that works great. I'll talk to you about Cryptomania. Don't you know the books of Richard Peck? He's on your handout. He's a stunner. And anything, they're children's books, but I read children's books. My artist for Cryptomania was sitting next to him at a conference, and he asked her what she was illustrating. And it turns out he loves Greek and Latin, and so he did this beautiful blurb for the back of the book because he feels so strongly about students learning Greek and Latin roots because it'll last a lifetime. So this book took 5 years. The kids teleport on adventure. They build a teleporter, so telefart and port like a suitcase, they do teleport. I invented a micro cyanosaurus. What's cyan? Blue. So that's my small blue dino. Here's how I drew Alfie, a microcyanosaurus. This is what Kim did. Isn't he great? I just love him. So we went to American Library Association. It was called IRA, but they obviously changed it. It's the International Literacy Association now. And the kids were absolutely remembering what I had taught them. I was stunned, and then that's when I knew the book had to be done. Harry Potter had all kinds of spells. Expelliarmus, armus weapon. You can actually Google Latin and Harry Potter, or reparo doesn't work. I've tried it. Impedio is the one that stops people from moving. I wanted to show you this art. This is the building blocks of language, and it's right. Oh, look at Jim looking at his copy of the book to see it. And so she's designed it, and you can tell that it's going to be good, but look what happened when she painted it. Isn't that amazing? And she looked online and saw under the lemon moon, so she put a moon. And all the white spaces where the words will go, then they're laid in by a graphic designer, so they look like that. So we're going to do only one of these. Helicopter, real fast. Helico is spiral, and tear is wing. So get ready. Helico, tear. And so helicopter means spiral wing. Is that not the coolest thing? Oh, Can't stand it. So triangle, tripod, they just show me a 3 and touch their shoe. The teleporter changes. Any Greek root is green, any Latin root is red. This was the first sketch for the classical world, and you can tell that Kim Donner's an artist, but you can't really see it there, and the editor asked her to make it a little more cohesive. So she used an amphora and put the crypto kids on it. Now look at this. That hangs in my office. I love it. And here it is with the words on it. And this is the body parts page. So kephal, head, caput for the Latin, astro and not. For about 30 seconds, the name of the book was Astronauts Are Star Sailors. 30 seconds, that's good. Mica, mica, parva stella, mirror, quantum system, bella, sing. Mirror, 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 stella, mirror, quantum system, bella. Third graders would sing that with me. It was great. Okay, I brought the tumbling tetrahedron. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm going to pass this around. Watch. See how it goes? What's tetra? What's hedron? Side, 4 and side. You need 8 of those. You can go online to cryptokids.com. You need to make 2 pages of this pattern, and it only took us about half an hour last night in the hotel, right? To make our tetrahedron. That is for Bible. So make sure it gets back to Pat, if you will, please. Kids love that. One class made a giganto one. Oh, it was fabulous. The kids have a lot of fun making critters, create a critter. So this is 3 wheels. We have they choose one from each wheel. Mega cyanodactyl, this is a 2nd grader. It says big buell fingers and toes instead of blue, very cute. The Polyceratops, many horns on the face, and the Dinoctopterosaur, terrible 8-winged dinosaur. They completely get it, I promise you. Look online, phototropic experiment. I've done this twice now. Photo is light and trope is turn. And you keep the lid on, and there's a hole at the top right there, and that's the only place that the light can go through, and it goes around the barricades. Fascinating. That's on your handout too. There are 2 glossaries. 48 hours before it went to print, my editor said, oh, I think you're right, we need a reversed glossary in the back. Okay, no problem. And there are 200 roots in this. I'm very happy to tell you that the workbook came out a month ago. This is the workbook that goes with Cryptomania. It has 300 Greek and Latin roots. We can pass these. And Kim Donner, who did the art for the book, also did the art for the workbook. She loves Alfie, you can see. He's doing Olé here, and bonjour. But look at these. I told her I just needed simple line art, and she just astonished me. Water, weed, and weight. How many are master gardeners? Okay. We learned from a master gardener there was nothing about school gardens, and it was very important. So we wrote this book to fulfill that need. Mr. Barkley peeks up over the recess, over the playground fence, and he has grumpy eyebrows. And yesterday I said to the little children, show me your grumpy eyebrows. And I think Peg got a really good photo. All these little kids going like that. So you can see the color palette. And I taught them the marigold secret of taking the seeds out of the dead pod. And the little boy said to me, I take these and show them how to make plants. He's looking at this potato I'm holding in my hand. How did you do that? I said, how did I do what? Well, you cut it very carefully, get a grown-up to help you, blah, blah, blah. No, how did you do that? He wanted to know how I had made it get eyes sprouting out of it. I said, neglect in a dark place. Cricket at the Manger, amazing illustrations. The illustrations are collage, and they're on sandpaper. So that's what the pattern is. And I got to play with words. Here's a first rough, a final sketch, but even in the final art, Look at what the donkey is drinking from and carting around. Different. Armando in the Blue Tarp School. David Lynch was a teacher in Long Island, and one summer he went to Tijuana just to volunteer for a summer, and he's now been there 35 years. He has built 4 schools there, and now he's gotten water to Matagalpa, Nicaragua, the dump right out, the municipal dump. There was no place for the children to stay. They took the babies in cardboard cartons and carried them around the dump while they scavenged. And now there's daycare, there's education for the children and the adults. That's David Lynch, he's amazing. So we wrote a letter, an article for the Los Angeles Times, and it was at Christmas, and a reader told her husband all she wanted for Christmas was a school for those kids. Well, it makes me, it's just shivery. So we went back 6 months later, and here's the school. Now I say, this doesn't really look like your school, but it's out of the smell of the dump, the sound, away from the hot sun and the rain. This is the reality for those children. And we put beep, 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 because David would honk his horn and spread his tarp on the ground. So they say, down the dirt road, across the wobbly plank, and past the big rock. So I wanted to show you this art. Hernan Sosa almost made it look like stained glass, which helped soften a difficult topic, we thought. So there he is. The other thing that Hernan did was to put a dog on almost every page, and it's near Armando. That was not our idea, it was his. So look at that dog. So it's a friendship thing. There really was a fire in 2002. No one was hurt, but more than 40 homes were destroyed. So we put the fire in the book. Scientists, look up here. What's the problem right there? Well, put your hand up and let it be the moon. Can you see through the moon? Oh ho, artistic license, okay? Profe Felipe is a wonderful guy, and he actually, it's so weird that I can't find it. There he is. Profe Felipe teaches now at the school, and he learned on David's school, David's Blue Tarp. And his daughter is going to medical school. This is one generation. So he's celebrating his 35 years, and honestly, all of you know the power of one person to make a difference. David really matches that. Oh, it was made into a musical. I can't tell you how much fun it was. Songs and these adorable actors. I wanted to talk about the changing industry. I now have some books as ebooks. We're really straddling 2 worlds at this point. And, oh, I have to show you something. So yesterday, Brenda handed me a package. Open this up. And it's my very first copy of the paperback Jump Froggies. So it's an ebook. And I'll just pass this around so you can see it. But we turned it into a paperback, and it wouldn't have gotten here in time. It wouldn't have gotten to my house, so I sent it to Brenda. I haven't even looked at it. I'm so excited. This is for beginning writers, so if you know anyone who wants to write for children, I can really shortcut you. Something I learned in 2 years, you could learn in 2 minutes with that book. There are 50 quotes from published authors. That was really fun getting them. And for the thumbs up, thumbs down, my artist made froggy thumbs up and thumbs down. Isn't that cute? There are journal exercises. The biographies, 2 of these biographies have gone out of print. The younger ones are still in print. Barbara and Gary went out of print, and this is just a reality. So we have new covers designed. I mean, look at the difference between those 2 really quite awful covers and these covers. And they are out through Spotlight Biographies, so if you know teachers, let them know. There will be about 9 in this series as of the fall. Some things about Barbara. She's right. Barbara McClintock, the Mays geneticist who got the Nobel in 81. That's she in the front row, and her name is on the honor roll. That's first grade. Let's take maybe 1 or 2 questions, and you can catch me after with questions, and then I have a closing. Are you okay? Yes, Becky, do you have a question?
It would really be cool. I never took Latin, it's certainly not Greek, but, and a good exercise book for senior brains.
Oh, yeah, seniors can definitely use just the glossary at the back. Go through the whole book. Becky says, go through the whole book. Don't just read the glossary. Okay. So the handouts you'll see have the 3 lives on them, and I gave you quite a few links that you might be interested in, like Little Free Library and other ones. So let me talk to you about Sleepy Time Me. This came from Random House, and it only took about 25 years, okay? So in the early 90s, I had the verse, yawn around, sleepy time town. And I loved it, but I couldn't get the story. The most horrible version I did was, I put a note to the illustrator, artist draws yawn icon. Oh, that was just horrible. It wouldn't shape up. So it was about 1,500 words long. I went to a conference in 2012, and they kept stressing short. And I came home and went cut, and then I kept my nose in a rhyming dictionary for maybe 4 months, and it's 138 words now, and you can help me with it. I wanted to show you the launch. We had so much fun at the launch. There was even a cake with the cover of the book, and you see my son up here smiling. There's my friend Patricia. And I was sweating the way I am right now, and he reached over and touched my nose. I thought that he was just helping me. He had blue icing on his finger, and I reached up to continue wiping it, and my whole face was blue. We were laughing. It was so funny. And a bunch of friends came in their pajamas, including 2 adults in their nighty-nights. So I'm told that this book is very soporific. And Alexis O'Neill, as I told you, is the one who gave me the slippers. So you're going to help me with this. You're fast, so I'm not going to do all the teaching I do with the children. You know, where do you see clouds and the moon and blah, blah, blah in the sky? Okay. So it's going to be yawn around, sleepy time. Sky, farm, town, house, me, okay? And once again, Jim's the holder. Jim's the microphone. You do, you get extra credit. You get 2 A's. The art is by Christopher Denise, who lives in Rhode Island. He lives in Barrington, right near Providence. Splashy sunset paints the sky. Shy moon tiptoes, climbs up high. Daylight's fading, stars grow bright. Darkness glowing, velvet night, get ready. Sky, yawn around, sleepy time. Sky, do it again. Yawn around, sleepy time, sky. I love this. Chickens settle, kittens purr. Piglets ruffle, puppies stir. That's when I show my piggy slippers. One little kid patted my piggy slippers through the whole thing. It was adorable. And I love the farmer. Downy ducklings find your nest. Burrow bunnies, time for rest. Farm, yawn around, sleepy time, farm. This is Providence, Rhode Island, and he put it right into the book. Nighttime gathers, work is done, headlights shimmer, streetlights on. Freight trains whisper, buses roam, big trucks rumble, cars head home, town. Yawn around, yawn, sleepy time, town. Wash the dishes, sweep the floor, toys to toy box, close the door. Windows shuttered, curtains drawn, bath time, book time, night lights on. House, yawn around, sleepy time, house. Yawning, snuggle close, hugs and kisses, start to doze. Teddy, Jammy, no, Tenny, Lanky, Jammy's bed, snuggly pillow, sleepy head. Yawn around, sleepy time to be. And the last pages. Night, night, sleep tight, sleep tight. And I really have parents telling me that it's putting the children to sleep. Use this for the third book. That's the key. Oh, yeah. One father really did fall asleep. I got that report. The kid finished the book, right? So we have much to look forward this weekend. This is 2005, and on the right are the senior ads. We're going to try to replicate this at the tomorrow night party. So these three, my lovely assistants, we meet, the roommates meet, and they came to my house when we all turned 65, and we were the class of 65. That was funny. And then we were quite hilarious. We went to Kentuck Knob when we were in Pittsburgh at Peggy's house. And you see those statues? We just got in line with statues. So we hope that you will have much hilarity yourself. And I want to remind you that you can have 3 lives also. The regular, the reading, and then whatever your passion is, because you have a unique mind, unique skills, and a unique heart. So carpe diem and carpe curiosity. Thank you.